So welcome to the Using Essential Oils Safely Weekly Blab. I'm Leah Harris, certified aromatherapist and founder of usingeossafely.com, and I'm here with Christy and Daphne, and we are several admins of the new Using Essential Oils Safely Facebook group. So thank you so much for joining us. This is a weekly essential oil mini course on using essential oils safely. We are here on Blab every single week on Sundays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to provide you with these crash courses, and they are for anyone interested in learning more about essential oils, beginner or long-time user. So each week we take a look at one essential oil or blend, and we check it out, we study it, we show you the safety, therapeutic properties, how to use it, tons of recipes. So today we will be learning about anti-congestion or decongestant blends. I hope you have them handy so that as we're talking about this, you can check your bottles and see what's listed on them. So I will share with you why the blends you may be using may not be family safe, and I will offer 2 original blends that I created for you as family safe alternatives. So we will be opening up a Q&A at the end, but if you want clarification on something I said that you might not understand, please feel free to post your question in the chat area. Again, you can type \Q, and that will move it over to our question section so that we can not hopefully miss those. So before we get started on the recipes and such, earlier today I did create a post on just basically about thieves blends. Like, what is wrong with those pre-made thieves blends? We discuss this a lot in our group. What makes them unsafe and what to use instead. And just over an hour after posting, there were over 1,400 views of that post and 100 shares on my Facebook page, with only about an hour's worth of hanging out there in Cyberland. So I could tell you guys are really, really interested in that. So let me post a link. It's actually a really long link. Sorry, I didn't have the short link handy. Oh, there you go. Of course I should have known. Daphne's there already ready to go. So basically, thieves blends. Now, thieves is just a generic term for anti-germ blends. And there is one company who has used this name for their anti-germ blend, but it's actually been used for quite a while, and it really, it's a name that was used to first identify an herbal blend that was used to ward off germs during the Black Plague. So when I say thieves blends, I'm not attacking one specific blend. I mean any blend from any company, whether it's Is Thieves or On Guard or, you know, any of those germ-fighting blends, which contain eucalyptus, rosemary, peppermint, orange, lemon, cinnamon, and or clove essential oils. So I will be explaining to you really quickly. I'm not going to read the entire post to you. You can find that on the link. But really quickly, what is wrong with those blends as far as children go is that eucalyptus and rosemary contain 1,8-cineol. And this is a constituent that is found in more than 40% of those essential oils. Now, as we've discussed in previous blabs, an essential oil is not just one ingredient. It actually contains dozens, sometimes hundreds of constituents. So eucalyptus and rosemary happen to have at least 40% or more of the constituent 1,8-cineol, which Robert Tisserand and Rodney Young determined made it flagged for children. So basically, if an essential oil has more than 40% 1,8-cineol, then it's not recommended to use around children under the age of 10. And there are a few other essential oils that do have a high amount of this constituent in it as well. Peppermint contains menthol, and that is one that is not recommended for children under 6. And the reason being, hello Rosalie, the reason being is it can slow respiration. It can cause respiratory distress. So theoretically, if your children have been previously exposed and they have not experienced slow respiration, you might feel it's safe to use with your child, and that could be true, but it's really not a guarantee. Because if you've been diffusing around your child and then you learn that, oh, it's not safe, but it's okay if they've been exposed before and they never had an adverse reaction, then you might be comfortable making a blend and slathering it all over their throat or their chest, and then they might actually react. So it's really something that I do recommend that people avoid around young children. And the good news is there are alternatives. There are other essential oils that you can use that are decongestant, that are very, very effective for children that you can use. And so that's basically where, yes, Rosalie. That's basically where my post comes in. And let me give you a link to that. I don't know, Daphne probably has it already ready. But here we go. So that's where this comes in. So basically what anti-congestion essential oils do is they relieve congestion of the nose and upper respiratory tract, including the chest and lungs. Sometimes they're referred to as decongestant. Now, there are several essential oils that have this therapeutic property of anti-congestant, and the best choices are Fregonia, cedarwood, sandalwood, peppermint, eucalyptus, fir needle, cypress, pine, spruce, and juniper berry. And also useful are clove, cinnamon, lemon, orange, and tangerine. Now, as we know, peppermint should only be used on children over 6, eucalyptus for children over the age of 10. And of course, rosemary should be added to that list as well. So we've already reviewed, you know, what the issues were with peppermint and eucalyptus. Now, there are actually lots of different kinds of fir, juniper, pine, and spruce essential oils. So I have okay, so you can't see Daphne. I have a list of alternatives that are safe for children that you can use, and that is found on the link I provided. Let me send that again. And for those of you who are watching the replay, it's using eossafely.com/anticongestion. And you can find a whole list of alternatives. So if you're not sure if the fir that you have is going to be okay or not, you can look at that list. And there are actually, and you know what, I don't have it on here. There is a very uncommon spruce and uncommon pine that is not recommended. And I'm going to make a note to add that because I neglected to. But basically, most of the pines and spruces that you're going to find are going to be fine. So my recipe for anti-congestion, the first recipe that you guys have probably seen on my old blog, Learning About EOs, and we share it a lot in our Facebook group, is a combination of fir needle, sweet orange, and cinnamon leaf. I've actually made that up right here. Let me see if there's any questions. Yes, I can see you, Rosalie. I can see your typing. I can. So to this bottle, what I added, and you can find the recipe on that link, I added 40 drops of fir needle, 35 drops of sweet orange, and 25 drops of cinnamon leaf. Now, you can use cinnamon bark, but if you do, then I recommend that you only use it for diffusing, or if you do, then it's going to have a lot lower topical max dilution that you can use. Right now, if you use that blend, then it's not recommended that you use it in a dilution greater than 2% because of the cinnamon leaf. It has a really low topical max. But these blends are probably most effective inhaled anyways. You can add it to an inhaler. You can add it to your aroma pendant. You can, actually, you can even use a steam inhalation with these. And yeah, cinnamon cassia has, it's very harsh. It's skin irritant. So I really do not recommend using cassia. It's a very cheap form of cinnamon, and it really needs a really high dilution. Cinnamon leaf, you can get away with a 0.6% dilution, where cinnamon bark and cassia, you really need to go with 0.07%. So that's quite a difference. The other recipe that I have, and this is one, by the way, the recipe I just shared, people have been using this for a couple of years now and really, really like it. So if you're not sure if it's going to be effective, people have tried this and it really, really works. It's very, very effective. And the second recipe that I've made uses 40 drops of Fregonia, 35 drops of lemon, and 25 drops of sandalwood. And that's what I have in here right now. Now, Fregonia might not be one that you're very familiar with, but it happens to be one that has that eucalyptus aroma that some of you might be missing if you're used to eucalyptus and you really miss that. Fregonia has around 30% of 1,8-cineol. So it has that anti-congestion property, but it doesn't go above that 40% max that Tisserand and Young have decided were really the cutoff for if it's safe for children or not. What size bottle do I put my blend in? Generally, I use the 5 ml bottles that I put my blend in, and then I use either I reuse a bottle or I buy clean ones. It's Fregonia. It's Fragonia. And also I use the dropper bottles, which are really super handy. Sometimes it's really difficult to get drops out of these 5 ml bottles, especially if you're using sandalwood or something thicker. It can be a little bit annoying. You're welcome. Can be a little bit annoying. Plus these are just fun anyways. You know, they're just dropper and they're really, really fun. So those are my 2 recipes, and I will post that link one more time. It's using eossafely.com/anticongesteos, and you can find those recipes there. Now, if you're wondering why 2 recipes, well, I think I already explained that the first recipe I shared that has fur, that is a recipe that you guys have been using in my group. You guys have been using for a long time now. It's very, very, very effective. I created this second version because it does have that eucalyptus type aroma that some of you are missing. I really like the addition of sandalwood in that recipe. It's really great if you have a sore throat. You can use it topically. And by the way, that blends with the Fregonia, lemon, and sandalwood. You can use safely up to a 6% dilution. So if it's one that you want to use topically, the number 2 recipe is probably going to be the one that you're going to want to use because you might want to use more than a 2% dilution. It's also going to be a great one for nighttime. So, hi Linda. Okay, sure. If you can email me, I can look into that after the blab. Often when you order the book, I attach a PDF to the email and I reply right back. Sometimes it gets stuck in your spam folder, but go ahead and email me at that email address and I can take a look for it after we're done with the blab. So recipe number 1 with fir, orange, and cinnamon. You can use this up to 2%, and that is because of the cinnamon. You can replace with cedarwood instead of cinnamon. You can use sandalwood instead of cinnamon. Also, if you don't have fir needle, you can use cypress, pine, spruce, or juniper berry instead of the fir needle. Also, if you don't have orange, you can use tangerine. They're interchangeable. That is fine. Now, the second recipe, yes.
Danielle had asked earlier about that blend. She said the same blend, but also lavender. Is that okay?
You can use lavender instead of cinnamon, yes. Cinnamon is really in place there for the germ factor. And lavender is pretty good for germs as well instead of cinnamon. And of course, it's not as harsh on the skin. And a question, what age? Both of these are safe for all ages. These are safe for use during pregnancy, if you're breastfeeding, and any age child. And that is why I made these. Now, the second blend, instead of using Fregonia, what you can do if you have children over 6 is you can replace that with peppermint. And for kids over 10, you can replace the Fregonia with eucalyptus. And then you have the lemon, and then sandalwood. And you can use cedarwood and replace the sandalwood if you want. In the second blend, you can use safely up to 6% dilution. Fir is, it's 40 drops fir, 35 drops orange, 25 drops cinnamon leaf. And the Fregonia, it's 40 drops Fregonia, 35 drops lemon, and 25 drops sandalwood. And thanks, Christy. She just posted a link for you so that you can check those recipes out. Neither one of these blends are safe for use with pets, as a lot of essential oils aren't. Okay, does anybody have any questions on those recipes before we get into how to use them? Or anything to do with safety before we get into how to use. I've never, no, and that's the thing. Some people will tell you, don't store those in the dropper bottles because the rubber will melt away and everything, but I've never had that happen. I just never have. Very careful though, not to tip it upside down so it can eat away at the rubber. You have, okay. Yeah, I've never had that problem. So it's just a caution. If you're going to use undiluted essential oils in these with a rubber dropper, that if you store it for a long period of time, theoretically, the rubber can disintegrate. So it can happen. I've never experienced that myself. Most often, I will store diluted blends in these with the droppers, just to be sure. But it's really not something I'm personally worried about. I generally am pretty careful just to keep this upright, and I have not had any issues with it. You're welcome. So, okay, so answer that one. So any other questions? There's 46 of you on tonight. That's really exciting. And there's almost 100 of you watching. That's really good considering our first blab completely messed up. Can the droppers be used for other oils, or do we need new droppers for every oil? Well, this is the blend, and I'm using the same dropper for the entire blend. If you want to refill it, you know, this actually, it comes, this is a bottle that comes with a dropper. So you can reuse, and you can wash them out and use them again later if you clean them, or if you want to refill, you can do that too. So I just want to show you guys how I make my inhalers. I've done this before. I have one from River Tree Life, and I will show you with the Fregonia blend. Okay, so generally we want 15 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we have 15 drops. I generally recommend for children under 10 to use 10 drops, but it's really not a big deal if you want to use 15. Yeah, so these blends are just essential oils, and that's what we will be using for all of the recipes I'm about to give you right now. So these are what's called your master blends. So they're already blended, just like if you purchased a pre-made blend on the internet or in your health food store. These are already blended for you with all of those different essential oils. So from there, you then use drops. So like as you just saw, I used 15 drops of my Fregonia blend in my inhaler. And I'm going to put it together. So it's ready to go. And that's it. Can you use blend with carriers in inhalers? No. It is best that you use only essential oils in your inhaler. The wick is really not suited to absorbing the carriers. It's going to be really, really thick. So you only want to use essential oils in there. Once the smell wears off, can you just apply more drops to the same wick, or do you need a new wick? You can just apply more drops to the same wick, yes. You can reuse them many, many times before they need to be replaced. And you'll know they need to be replaced if they start kind of falling apart and stuff. Sometimes your wick might drop all the way into the glass, and that is totally fine. You can just add your drips through here, through the neck, and it will fall and it will hit the wick. So that is totally fine. Diffuser necklaces, yes. I have on one right now, and mine opens this way. And I don't have a felt pad in it right now. But if I did, I could put 1 drop. I really suggest only 1 drop because it's very close to your face. And if you use more than that, it could be overwhelming. However, if you do have a cold, then 2 drops might be something that you want to do. But I really recommend 1 drop at first. There is no plastic in these inhalers. This is glass and aluminum. So there is no plastic to eat away at these inhalers. There are plastic inhalers. Nope, I don't have those. There are plastic inhalers, but the wick does not set right up against the plastic, so it's totally fine to use a plastic one. Yes.
Yeah, I was just gonna show mine off. Although I have the worst getting the bottoms off, so the aluminum.
They're hard.
It is hard.
Like, I can't. And I cannot get under there, but they are nice, especially for the kids.
Mm-hmm. They are. They are. So it's really a personal preference if you use glass or plastic. I just happen to like these. They're so pretty. Mm-hmm. They come in different colors, and they're really, really nice. Not safe for pets. The ones that are not safe for pets, I believe it's the cinnamon leaf is okay. You'd have to, you know what? That's something I should have checked. I'm going to give you a link to the pets page. No, I won't. Daphne will. Okay, so if you check out the Safe Dogs link that Daphne just posted, it's using eossafely.com/safedogs. You can check that out. It's generally the fur. It's fur. I remember now. Fur is not recommended. Any of those fir, cypress, pine. Unfortunately, the ones that are okay for kids are not okay for dogs. And strangely, eucalyptus and peppermint are actually fine around dogs. So it's too bad that didn't kind of line up, but unfortunately it doesn't. But it's fine. If you want to give your kids inhalers, you know, that's fine. If your dog's outside and you want to diffuse, that's fine too.
Someone asked up a little higher if you could put, wait, let me find it. Something about putting the carrier in the inhaler to make it last longer.
Right, yeah, you don't want to put carriers in. This wick is really only meant to absorb essential oils, and not with carriers. It'll just be a mess. The reason why we use carriers is when it's on our skin, to protect our skin. When we're using essential oils in an inhaler, you know, we're breathing it through the air. So consider the air as your carrier, basically, if you're inhaling. There's really no need to have a carrier if you do that.
I read somewhere else, someone said about putting just one drop of carrier would make it last longer. But do you see the need in that? I mean, mine lasted for 3 or 4 months with no carrier in them.
Right. They do last for months. I personally haven't tried that. That's a really good question. I suppose if you did one drop, you could. I'm just afraid it would sort of gum up a little bit, and that if you tried to re-add essential oils, that it might not work as well. So that would be my concern. I really don't see the necessity, because they do last for months.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, and I mean, when they're going bad, it's because, the top notes go first and the base notes linger, or do I have that backwards? So I don't know how a carrier oil would affect the length of time the top notes stay around, because it has to do with air, not...
And it might also keep it in your inhaler a little bit more and not really let it flow out where you want to breathe it. You know, it might kind of like plug it in there, and I don't know, wouldn't be as effective. So I don't really recommend that you add even a drop of carrier. If you want to try it out, you know, you're free to do what you want, but I
made this months ago, and I really haven't used it that much, and it's still just as good almost as the day I made it. So to answer your question,
sorry.
No, you're fine. That was her question, was how long are you going to be able to use an inhaler? And the answer is probably, you know, a couple months, and even longer if you don't use it very often.
I use this one a lot, and I'm sure it's been 3 or 4 months at least, and I probably use it daily, maybe. So they'll last a long time. It's definitely the most economical way to use your oils.
Yes. And usually the most effective as well. Depending. Rosalie is saying she can't hear us. She's going to have to probably refresh. So why is the fir needle unsafe for dogs? It's in a list of essential oils that are not safe for dogs. I cannot tell you exactly why. It's just been known to cause dogs problems. If you read the Safe Dog link that Daphne posted earlier, it can give you a list of all the essential oils that are not safe for dogs. There's also, if one of you guys can find the link to the Safe Animal Aromatherapy Facebook page, if you want to look over there and ask over there exactly why. Like, we know for eucalyptus and rosemary, the 1,8-cineal constituent is the one that's not safe for kids. If you want to know what exactly is not safe for dogs in the fur or in other essential oils, that is something you can ask over there. I really do not know exactly what is wrong. Sandalwood, I believe, is on the safe list for dogs. So it's basically just the fir. It's fir, cypress, pine. It's all of those, unfortunately, that are not on the safe list. Is it safe to use every day? If you are congested, then you can use this. I never suggest using essential oils as a preventative. So if you are congested for several days, maybe a couple of weeks, then it would be okay to use daily for that specific issue. But I don't recommend diffusing like all throughout the flu season, several months to try to prevent it. That's really not how it works. What can you replace for the under 6 for the fur? Fur is for under 6.
Well, if you read the next comment down, she meant that's dog safe.
Oh, that's dog safe. Okay. Actually, eucalyptus is safe for dogs. Peppermint is safe for dogs.
But what's under 6 and also dog safe?
I'm not sure. I know sandalwood. Sandalwood is. Let me look up. I know sandalwood is safe. I think cedarwood is also okay. Let me check really quick. No, cedarwood is not. It's not safe. Okay, I'm just checking out the list right now, and cinnamon leaf is okay, but that's already in the blend. So let me think. Okay, cypress is actually the one. Cypress is one that is okay, so you could replace it with cypress, but you cannot use fir, spruce, or pine.
Diffusing. Do you see the question above?
And you can use rosalina as well. Which one? The unsafe for dog, cat.
Right.
Is that the one? Does that mean do not diffuse if they are around, or just don't use topically on them? It means around them. So if you're diffusing in a room that your animals are in, I don't suggest doing that. I suggest using a personal inhaler instead, or making sure that they're in a different room when you diffuse. Is there a difference between cypress and blue cypress? There is. They're different species.
Yes.
But what you can
cypress is going to be more like your other blue oils, like blue tansy and German chamomile. From what I've been reading, I have not been able to do that much in depth, but I know that we're all very curious about it this month in particular.
What, blue cypress?
Yes, I told you that the other day, and I got sidetracked. That was Plant Therapy's oil of the month.
Oh, okay.
For anybody who wanted to be surprised, sorry, but yeah, that's what the new oil they shipped out. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to use it because it's not pregnancy or breastfeeding safe, and then breastfeeding. So that would be one difference between cypress and blue cypress, right there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big deal, obviously, around here. Right after that. And then I believe it has similar issues with, I don't know this for sure, so don't quote me, but I would still use caution just in case with this, like, medications. So
it's not on the list. It's not on the list as an option for dogs or for children. So it's really an oddball one, actually, blue cypress. So I would.
Plant Therapy, at least, is promoting it more for skin issues than anything. So really, I would, especially if you got it from them, I would ask them. But I'm thinking it's going to be more for skin than this type of thing.
Yeah, I'm actually curious to know if I'm going to look that up right now really quickly.
No, they sent a sheet, but I don't know if I have it here or if I put it upstairs with my stuff or what.
Yeah, because there are, blue cypress, here it is.
But yes, blue cypress is a totally different oil than cypress.
Yeah, I wouldn't actually suggest that at all. It's not one you can use. It's when you cannot use it during pregnancy or breastfeeding, and it can have drug interactions and other things. So yeah, I would definitely avoid that. I mean, it doesn't say that it's unsafe for children, but, I would probably just go with the regular old cypress for that, honestly.
Definitely.
So that would be, my suggestion is just to skip it. There's tons of different options. If you go to the post, you can see there's a huge list. There's probably at least 20 different options for you if you don't have fir needle specifically. So...
There's a question
Okay, so
here just before we move on. What about EOs on potpourri? How it compares to diffusing / inhaling? I think we're using it in a Scentsy warmer, right?
yeah, the thing with diffusing is if you're just sprinkling a few essential oils on top of your potpourri, that is not going to be as intense as diffusing, which propels it into the air along with some water, right? So that's a little bit more intense. Now, I mean, that's going to have to be on you to decide if that's okay for you to use around your dogs or your children or whatever. It's probably not that much of a risk, to be honest, if you're sprinkling a couple of drops of peppermint in your potpourri and your child that's under 6 is around. Is it going to cause them issues? Probably not. But again, if you have an alternative, please use it just to be safe. Is it also unsafe to use these oils or any oils for that matter in your room diffuser every day? Again, we really recommend that you only use essential oils when you need them. So if you are a little stuffy or congested, please go ahead and use them. But I don't recommend using every single day to sort of prevent illness. That's really not how they work. They work a lot better if you have something, or even if you're just starting to have something and and then you use the inhaler or whatever, it can help you then. So that was the inhaler. It's 15 drops to your inhaler, or 5 to 10 in your diffuser, depending on your diffuser. And you can also use in the steam inhalation. Adults can use, immunity boosters. I mean, dillweed is actually one that can kind of help your immune system. There's a couple of others that might a little bit, but I really wouldn't rely on essential oils to help boost your immune system. I would rely on herbs for that. I really would not, focus on that.
Although we
essential oils.
Talk about it with clove. I think it's a help, but it's not gonna
Yeah, it can support your immune system, right? It can help support, but it's really not gonna say build up your body and make it stronger. It's not really how it works. Just
it's
like
not the garlic to vampire thing. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just like using hand sanitizers, you can actually use this recipe for a hand sanitizer if you want to. Just like it's not really, preventing you from being sick. What it's doing is it's killing germs on contact, which therefore prevents you from being sick. So it's really, maybe semantics, but. So for anti-congestion, you can use 2 drops of either one of these blends to a bowl of steaming water, and you can place your head with closed eyes. You definitely want to keep your eyes closed over your bowl. Drape a towel over your head to trap the steam in, and you can inhale deeply for several minutes. Now for children, you can just take a mug that has water in it, and you can add 1 drop of essential oil, one of the blends, to it, and you can just allow them to sort of sit really close and kind of breathe it in. I would not recommend that you leave your child with a hot cup of water. Obviously, they're probably not apt to drink it if it's really hot, but you want to make sure it's in a cup. They might think, gee, I can drink this, and then they might get burned. So please, if you use that method, be careful. Of course, inhalers are the safest way to do that. You can add either one of these. Okay, missed the first part of the blend because of no sound, but can you rub this on your chest and throat? Yes, you can. And we are getting to that. Just actually the next one after the bath. So what you can do is you can add 5 drops of either blend to a tablespoon of carrier oil and 1 ounce of bath salts, and you can add it to running water of your bath, and that can help with congestion. So yes, topically, you can absolutely use these in a chest rub. You can add, I have 3 different dilutions depending on age, but adults can add 18 drops to 1 ounce of carrier oil or lotion, and you can apply topically to your chest and over your throat as needed. And the 18 drops per ounce gives you a 3% dilution. The replacement for fir needle that's safe under 6 and for dogs, that would be cypress, just your plain regular cypress, not blue cypress. For ages 6 and up, you can use 6 drops per ounce, and that will give a 1% dilution. And for children under 6, like say 6 months and over, 0.5 dilution is good, and that's 3 drops per ounce. So you can use either one of these blends for that. That being said, actually, because the 3%, I need to clarify that. Because I have a 3% dilution for adults, but the first blend with the fir and the cinnamon really shouldn't go over 2%. So I'm going to have to clarify that one. So if you are using over 2%, I did mention that in the beginning though, but it might not be very clear if you're just looking at these images. If you do want to use more than a 2% dilution on yourself topically, then you definitely want to go with a second blend that has the Fregonia, the lemon, and the sandalwood. So I guess those are the best recipes to use for those blends. And if you want to know which sandalwood, there are different kinds of sandalwood. The one that I recommend is the Santalum spicatum, and that is the one that I recommend. It does not have a topical dilution max. There are a couple of other sandalwoods which do, and that would be the Western Australian sandalwood. And that one is okay to use. It does not have a topical dilution, where the East Indian and the New Caledonian sandalwoods do have a topical max of 2%. So yes, what is in the blends? I can repeat that for you. The first blend is 40 drops of fir needle, 35 drops of sweet orange, 25 drops of cinnamon leaf. And if you go to that link, it will give you options to swap them out for other things. If you don't have cinnamon leaf, you can use clove, cedarwood, or sandalwood. The second blend is 40 drops Fregonia, 35 drops of lemon, and 25 drops of sandalwood. And it's the second blend that I would recommend using topically. You can go up to 6%. It's also a great one for nighttime, and it's a great one if you have a sore throat to put it over your throat, because the sandalwood is really, really great for sore throats. So yes, sandalwood Australian would be the one that I would recommend if you're going to pick a sandalwood. Yes.
There's a question about lemon too, if you have to be careful with the sun with this blend. And I think also you should probably, while we're on the lemon, address, I know in your original learning about EO's post, you said you specifically did not use lemon because it could be harsh on the skin. So I guess we could cover both of those.
Right. Yep. When I made the blend, you can see it has 35 drops of lemon, so it is safe up to 6% without risking phototoxicity. You probably aren't going to go up to 6%. Even on a sore throat, you probably are only going to go up to 3%, which is still under that range. So yeah, stick to the 6% or less, and you won't have any risk for phototoxicity. You're welcome. Yes, these are on the website. We've shared the link a few times. It's usingeossafely.com/anti-congest-EOS. And you can find those recipes over there. I wasn't even going to bother. I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to bother posting the link because I know you guys.
We owe each other so many Cokes. It's just even at this point.
We do.
Exactly.
Dr. Pepper, please.
Exactly.
It's like either you drink Coke or Pepsi or Dr. Pepper. There's like it's like there's a greater divide between Coke and Pepsi. It's Coke or Pepsi, and Dr. Pepper is really what it is.
You're right. Coke. She says Coke. No, Dr. Pepper all the way.
There is a replay option, yes. When this ends, you'll be able to replay this on Blab. I'm also recording this, and I will be uploading it to YouTube so that you can find me over there as well. You can find this over there as well. And for those of you who might have joined near the end and didn't really catch the whole thing, I will be on Periscope tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time. And that will be, yes, using EOS safely. You can find me on Periscope at noon, and I'm going to do that again because I know Sunday evenings are not good for a lot of people. And although you can watch the replay, a lot of people like to have that live interaction, and so do I. It's really fun. So does anybody have any questions about anything that you heard tonight? About the recipes, how to use them, the safety? If you have any questions, now would be a great time. And after questions, I'm going to be giving away a copy of my book, if I can find it. Yes. It's right here. to one of you guys that have listened really well.
That's a good question from K Cardi 57. The difference between sweet and wild orange.
There really is no difference. The only difference is in the name. One company likes to use the name wild orange, but it's really sweet orange. It's the same thing.
I think Plant Therapy sells both, and what they say is wild orange smells a little stronger. So my husband was looking at them, and he went ahead and ordered both. We already had sweet orange from another company. He ordered wild orange because he thought it would be really nice for cleaning to have that really strong orange aroma. But like Leah is saying, I don't think there's a therapeutic difference.
Yeah, there really isn't. And there's a blood orange too. And, you know, there's tangerine, and they're all very similar. You can use them interchangeably. It's really not a big deal. Well, look at all the questions. I know I'm missing some. With my 1-year-old, but it seems like she needs more. I think I missed the first part, and I can't seem to scroll.
She said she used the same blend, but she added lavender to it. The tea or the fir, orange, and cinnamon.
Yeah. Right. That was a recommendation from Robert Tisserand when I made that blend up with a cinnamon leaf. He suggested that lavender would be a good replacement for the cinnamon leaf as far as the germ factor goes. It definitely gives a different aroma.
Well, what you said is she has all four. She has cinnamon leaf and lavender, plus the fir and what's the other one? Orange. But she feels like it's not enough for her 1-year-old. She needs something stronger. I tried the Fergonia and the sandalwood, and maybe even cedar. Just shake things up. Look through the list and see. And, you know, try a steam inhalation or put it in a warm bath. I guess that's topical, but you don't have to put you can put a couple drops after the bath is done, you know, shake it up in there and let the steam, or, you know, sit in the shower, put her swimsuit on, sit in the shower, turn it on, get the steam going in the bathroom, and then add a little shower disc to kind of get the steam going. Some gentle ways for a 1-year-old, because I know they won't really sit there with the cup. My son would not do that. So play with her, you know, get in the tub. You know, if you have one of those showers, you can both sit on the floor and turn the shower on, you know, put her swimsuit on or naked, whatever, you know, you're comfortable with. Get out the bath toys, put a couple drops, you know, on the edge and let the steam do the job. And
you can also kind of waft it under the nose.
I like the comment about she tries to lick the inhaler. That's funny.
And you guys are all flooding in, and I cannot scroll. So, if you guys scroll. I know we missed a bunch because everybody's flooding in, and
I've got
it's so frustrating.
One back here.
Let me grab the carrier oil.
About what carrier oil do you recommend?
Yeah, I like jojoba personally because it lasts a very long time. But you can use a lot of different carriers. There's a link for you there. You can use almond. You can use, you know, whatever you have. Sweet almond, apricot, avocado. There's tons of different carriers. I personally love jojoba, though, because that is, it's a liquid wax and it lasts forever, which is awesome. Because sometimes the carrier oils don't last very long. They might only last a few months, like sesame oil. So if you're making up a blend and you have the carrier, then it's only going to last a few months.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there really isn't one that's best for congestion, no.
I do kind of like putting it in coconut, like solid coconut, because if you're transferring from Vicks, you kind of get that feeling of dipping your fingers into something similar and rubbing it on your chest. If you want to kind of go in with that mentality, and the coconut will go so far. You really don't, it'll stretch out a lot longer than you think it will, but a lot longer than the Vicks. But, if you want that familiar, a body butter or coconut, if you want to do it that way, or a balm with some beeswax. But, if you're just doing like a roller bottle or something like that, then, jojoba or anything, there's no particular one that's going to help with the congestion specifically.
The purpose for sweet orange, it does help for germs. It does have a really good aroma that blends well with the other essential oils. It does have a lot of therapeutic properties on its own. It doesn't just smell great. You can replace, if you don't have sweet orange, you can replace it with tangerine. You can even replace it with lemon if you want to. You
There's
don't
a
have orange,
question
but
above that I think you addressed earlier. It says, do you use your anti-germ recipe as a hand sanitizer? And I believe you said that you
yes,
can.
you can, absolutely. And that's a really great point. I don't have that recipe in this post, but I definitely want to add it. So I will make that this evening and add it to the post. You basically want to add, like, I actually have, let me grab this is one that I actually keep in my purse, and I just made it up. I just made it up today. And it's just a little bottle, and I add, like probably 10 or 12 drops of sweet orange and tea tree each, and a plop of carrier oil, whatever one that I happen to have. And the rest is water, and you can actually use witch hazel instead of water. And I keep this in my purse, and that's what I use. So after we're, out of stores or wherever that we are that might be sick, then we switch our hands, and it's really, really nice. But you want to add it with the carrier oil, and I can definitely add that recipe. I do have a recipe on the Learning About EO's website for hand sanitizer. It's basically sweet orange and tea tree, like I just said that I have in mine. But you can use one of these blends as well.
Yeah, that's what I plan on doing, is getting some aloe and a little squeeze bottle,
Yes,
and adding.
The recipe has aloe. Actually, the base is aloe vera gel, which, as we know, we talked about this last week. A lot of aloe veras are really liquidy, and they're not really like gel, and so they work really well for sprays. But I like using witch hazel as well.
Another question that's way up.
Alcohol, so that's they got an added benefit. That's nice.
Yeah, if you guys type /Q, it'll pull your question over to a spot that I can scroll through. Because as we're answering a question and other ones are coming in, which I love, I absolutely love your questions, but then I no longer can see them anymore. I know Daphne and Christy somehow can.
Yeah.
But I can't. Don't know why, because I tried. I just cannot seem to scroll.
Yeah, there's another question pretty far up, and can inhaling be just as good as putting it on your skin? Most definitely. Actually, it's much more effective to use to inhale.
When we're talking about congestion, it's in your lungs, right? So when you breathe that in, it's getting in your lungs, and it's very, very effective. You can use topically. I don't recommend topically for everything. You can use it topically for congestion, absolutely. But inhaling can also be very, very effective. The hand sanitizer would be safe for any age. If you're really congested, I don't think that I would recommend simple diffusing unless you just have a little bit of sniffles or something. If you're really congested, I would really suggest the steam inhalation. That's going to be the best thing you can do for that. Yeah, for pneumonia, bronchitis, whooping cough, any of that stuff. It's really, really good for that. If it's something you want to take on the go, then obviously an inhaler is going to be your next best option. But diffusing is it's more subtle. So it's probably not the best for congestion as opposed to other methods. Will any aloe work, or is that something you should buy from an EO company? No. You don't have to buy it from an essential oil company. I like the one from Mountain Rose Herbs. Yeah, they do sell essential oils, but they're mostly herbs. You can find Aromatics International, aromatics.com. They have some as well. You can find it on Amazon even. Someone said one time that with oils, it should be used with littles applying to skin. Is that not a worry? One time, with oils in it, it should be used with littles applying to skin.
Because she's asking what age for the hand sanitizer. I think she's saying how little can you start using the hand sanitizer without risking.
Right. I mean, generally we recommend that you don't use essential oils topically on children under the age of 2. But this would be an instance where you could, if they're in stores and they're touching the cart or the register, area or whatever, and they're germy, definitely use the germ spray. Absolutely.
I would say maybe even, because what I do right now, because I haven't made any up yet, is I wipe the cart down with the things they provide, the wipes they provide. And so you could always make some of this up and spray it down and wipe it yourself and then put the child in the cart. So that way you're not putting it right on their skin. But, if they touch something else, 1-year-olds, about that age where you're starting to put them in the cart and stuff, they really do touch everything. And, it's okay every once in a while, but also, you know, you're still handing them your metal keys to chew on too. So there's a balance between building immunity and killing germs.
Well, in my case, they would actually put their mouth right on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I actually had a cart cover that I
Yeah,
used till my
those are
kids were like
awesome.
5 or something, you know, till they were too big for the front. Like I'd wrap the entire cart.
My
cart.
third
And that's it.
kid, I finally got one, and I still have yet to use it, except for one time I went to the thrift store. I love thrift stores, but for some reason I feel like they're so germy, and so I was like, we need the cart cover for the store. Best thrift store I've ever been in, but I'm still like, I'm such a germaphobe.
Yeah.
There's still a question way up above. Did we address the one about asthma? I got sidetracked a little bit.
I really don't like questions about asthma.
Right.
I see it's actually over on the left. Do I have a blend
Okay.
for people with asthma, or do essential oils aggravate the condition?
Right.
That
okay.
depends on you. I'm sorry to say it. It really depends on the person. Some people find that essential oils can benefit their asthma, and there are some essential oils that can be helpful for that. At the same time, those same exact essential oils might actually aggravate asthma conditions. So I really like to stay away from those kinds of, that particular question, because it's really one of those things that you kind of have to try for yourself. But I really hesitate in even saying, well, you can try it and see if you can't breathe anymore. I really don't like to say that, because the chances of you having an adverse reaction is kind of 50-50. So
I feel like we did a post on this though. Didn't we, Christy?
Oh, we started it. I don't remember if we ever finished it or we just talked about working on it.
I feel like I made a graphic now that I'm thinking about it. I'm going to go look.
Yeah, I mean, there are some essential oils that theoretically can be good for asthma. But like I said, those same exact ones might also aggravate asthma. It's one of those things that is just like,
depends on the person.
I really don't like to advise people. Yeah, it does depend on the person. And it's like, this might work for you, might not work for you. So I really don't like to answer that, because I really don't want that responsibility of it not working for somebody. Don't want that on me. So
okay, I have, we said specific oils to avoid: oregano, rosemary, and yarrow. And sometimes people have issues with eucalyptus, the mints, and we listed wintergreen separately because
right.
I was in the blonde moment and I couldn't remember that wintergreen fell under a mint, so we figured let's just be safe. So, definitely want to avoid thieves blends with rosemary and possibly eucalyptus. I think I told somebody, if you really want to try an oil and you're not sure if you're going to have a reaction to it, make an appointment with your doctor, go in, tell them what you're going to do ahead of time. Bring your oils with you and test it with your doctor, because that's the safest way you're going to do it. It's like, my kids, if they're going to get house shots, we have to do it in the office. So don't, we're not going to tell you what to do, but if you're going to try an oil and you have those issues, talk to your doctor. Go in. Don't ask us. We are not medically trained to handle it, and we are not anywhere close to you if you have a medical emergency.
Right. Drive to the ER and do it right there. If you're gonna do it.
Well, save yourself the $200 copay. Just spend the $15 and go into your regular doctor, and they have that too.
Exactly.
Somebody asked if they could use lime instead of orange.
You can, yes. The only problem with that is lime does have a topical max of 0.7%. So then you're into figuring out what a good topical max is. But if you're going to use it just diffusing or inhaling, then there's no issue for that at all. So the thing with sweet oranges, there's no topical max for that. But you can, yes, that actually would be very lovely together as far as aromas go. Why would you inhale an anti-germ recipe? Well, this is actually an anti-congestion blend, but I will answer that. With anti-germ recipes, you can take your inhaler before you go into a store or before you're around people that are sick, and you can inhale this. And what will happen is it gets in your lungs and eventually into your blood. And it basically is like soldiers on standby. And then when you're around those germs, it can help combat it right then and there. So I often forget, but if I remembered every single time before I went into a store, I'd be, breathing an anti-germ blend, then I'd come out and I'd breathe it again just to make sure, that it's on both sides of it. But yeah, you can definitely breathe germ recipes because a lot of germs are in the air, or, if someone sneezes or coughs and then you're breathing it in, so you can get it that way. Obviously, if you're touching dirty places, then hand sanitizer is going to be the way. But there is a valid reason to inhale anti-germs.
Got off on the anti-germ subject, but a lot of these oils, especially like fir and orange, double as congestion and germ, and that's kind of why these two are melding so well.
Right. And cinnamon is really good for germs as well. And actually, in a couple of weeks, we will be doing an anti-germ blend session, but those will be more geared to really germs. This is more focused on congestion, but like a lot of essential oils, they have more than one function, which is really, really great. As we'll learn next week when we're doing sandalwood, it can be for more than just congestion. Sandalwood is really great for a lot of other things as well. I wouldn't say, we do have a blanket statement of not using every single day. But if you have congestion issues that last longer than a few days or even a couple of weeks, you can use it every day if you're trying to address that issue. And inhaling really is not as big of a deal to do long-term as topical uses. If you're using essential oils topically every single day for more than several weeks, you can risk sensitization or irritation depending on, what you're using and what your dilution is. Inhaling, it's not the same thing. You're not going to break out into a rash on your skin if you inhale. But you can over-inhale, though. You maybe get a headache, you might feel nauseous, you might irritate your lungs if you are diffusing or inhaling too often or too long. But generally speaking, inhaling is a more gentle way to use essential oils than topically. You're welcome. Summer asks, I have a generic from Walmart aloe. Is that okay? Yes, that is okay. Some of them do have preservatives in it. If you're using it as a hand sanitizer, I wouldn't worry too much. It's more if you're ingesting it. A lot of people do drink aloe vera for heartburn issues or esophageal issues. And in that case, I would definitely seek out a more pure form of aloe. But if you're using it in a hand sanitizer, then I wouldn't worry too much about that. Okay, all messages. So Paula's saying, if I click on mention, I can scroll up. Okay, that's good to know.
Someone says, I see you use the glass aluminum inhalers and not the plastic ones. Oops, it just moved and I lost the end of the question. They want to know why you don't. Oh, here it is. Your reason. Does the plastic damage the EOs? Does the EO damage the plastic ones?
No, it's just personal preference. I do have plastic inhalers. I just love these. These are just, to me, they're beautiful. They look classier than the plastic ones. So I have several colors from River Tree Life, and I just like them better. It's just a personal preference, really. For my kids, I don't really give them these, really. Yeah. I give them a plastic one.
Yeah, my aluminum ones are across the table. I just got them, but this is my old plastic one, and I like that I can color. There are more colors available in the plastic ones. Mm-hmm. So for my husband and my kids, I'll just pick out their favorite colors or whatever, and then put different labels on them because they're gonna lose them or put them through the washer or who knows, right. I live with boys. Plastic everything. I know plastic is going to kill us one of these days, but in the meantime,
the thing with
essential plastic inhaler is fine. Yeah. It really is.
And the thing is, with plastic and essential oils, and I know a lot of people realize that essential oils can break down plastic, and that is true, but it's more that you want to avoid storing, say, your essential oil blend that's not diluted in plastic. You don't want to store it in plastic because it will break down that plastic more rapidly than in glass. But if you're simply, adding essential oils to a wick that you're then putting in a plastic inhaler and it's loose in the inhaler, it's not rubbing up against it, you're really not going to have anything to worry about.
Right. And when you're making up different recipes and stuff. There are types of plastic. I think it's type 1, I believe, definitely type 2, and possibly type 5. And it's peat, PET, peat, and HPDE, I believe. I probably mixed that all up. Those types of plastic are safe to use for, essential oil recipes and stuff.
Right.
I know too for sure. If you look at the bottom, like not on this, but if you look at the bottom, there's a little recycle symbol and it will have a number on it. And you definitely want number 2, which is PET or peat. And you can Google the images and it'll tell you because a lot of cities have recycling programs or stuff. So you just type recycle images and then click images and it'll show you what kinds. And it won't say essential oils, but if you're looking for 2, peat, PET, and I saved that on my phone, so for quick reference. So, like now, I can't say it off the top of my head, but if I pull up my phone, I'll be able to say it.
Yeah.
A couple people, I may have been the same person, ask if those recipes will work in lotion bars.
Yes, you can use them. Add them to a lotion, and that's one of my options for applying topically. Is you can add it to a carrier oil, or you can add it to a lotion. Absolutely. Yes, you can. Absolutely. That's a great way to use it. Someone's asking about where they can get smudge-proof labels. I would look into what type of pen you're using too. Some pens just simply don't kind of absorb in. I would suggest Sharpies if you can. I use a Sharpie pen, and those really don't. Those do smudge. Okay, those will smudge, but a regular Sharpie should not smudge. And if they do, just leave it, before you peel it off really quickly, just let it sit even a few seconds before because I've done that before, I write my label and I go to peel it off and it smudges. So just give it a little bit of time to absorb.
And I think River Tree Life, I haven't really put into the test yet, but their labels are supposed to be, smudge proof. I think the problem is mostly when you get oils on them. Not much is going to survive oils, but if you can keep the oils off. And what I did was I just used my label maker, and I put that on, and then I put tape over it. Just, it's not that pretty, but like I said, I'm using these mostly for the kids anyway. So, those are.
See, I haven't even labeled these yet. But when I do, I like to wrap tape around them because, yes, when you're using them, sometimes it just happens that it's going to drip. And no matter what kind of label you have or what you've written with, it might smudge. It might bleed a little bit. Yes, tape is the best sealer. Yes. So Danielle asked a little while ago if lavender both a stimulant and a sedative? Yes, some essential oils are stimulant and sedative. And the reason why is because they can stimulate certain parts certain body systems, and they can sedate certain body systems. So in the case of lavender, it can help stimulate your immune system, and it can also help sedate the nerves. So, that can be true for a lot of essential oils. It might help stimulate one section, and it might sedate another. That's just how they work.
Rosalie had this question way back. We've got so many questions going on. Will any of these essential oils react with over-the-counter drugs for flu and cold medicine? I'm guessing.
Not that we know of. None of these essential oils that I have in my recipe are flagged in Robert's book as interacting with drugs. Most of the time, and of course, over-the-counter medicines aren't necessarily drugs either. So there may not be a lot of research on that. But to the best of my knowledge that, they don't. And that's what I really try to look for when I choose what essential oils to use in formulations, is making sure that they don't have any known interactions with, pretty much anything else that you might take as well. Usually when essential oils do interact with certain drugs, it's when you're using the essential oils internally. And of course, we don't advise that. So you should have no issue with these as described on the link. Okay, so Jess says, climate reduce the severity of asthma. Maybe it could be substituted for something in your blend for the person asking about asthma. And here's the link again. So I'm using a lavender hydrosol as a linen spray, but my son is still tossing and turning. Is this only the second night using it. Last night he slept like a rock, but I don't know if maybe it could change. I mean, it might, keep using it. And if he continues to sleep well, then it's probably the hydrosol. Hopefully it's that. Topically, the best spots for congestion are on the throat and chest area. Not the feet, please. Not the feet.
Yes,
not the earlobe or the elbow. Anything else random. The throat and the chest are the best for congestion.
There's a question up about, is diffuser and CPAP machine a no-no?
Well, I'm not really sure where you're going with that, but if you're asking about using essential oils to a CPAP, then I would say no. I put a little tissue next to the air intake. That should be fine. A tissue next to the air intake would be fine. Yes, that would be fine. I mean, even better is a linen spray. That could be one way to do it as well. But you can do that. I just don't suggest you add the essential oils to the basin because it can ruin that plastic. And you don't want to do that because those are expensive. Okay, cats. All right, that makes sense. So any more questions? I love these questions. That's what makes these fun, is you guys are asking really, really great questions. Well, the problem with feet is there's no lungs in your feet. Your lungs are up in your chest. So
I love it.
When you apply these blends to your throat and your chest to help you breathe better, that's really the best place you want to apply them. When you're applying them to your feet, you are breathing them as you're applying them, and they're going to work a little bit, but feet don't get congested. So I really recommend that you use these closest to where they're going to be most effective. So over your chest and your throat is the best. Will you be blab on any antidepressant sleep stress issues? We will be doing, yes. Next week's going to be sandalwood. The week after that is going to be sleep. Okay, that's going to be on sleep. So if you are interested in that, you want to keep an eyeball on what's going on with the Facebook group and my website and stuff, and I will be announcing that. As far as stress, yes, there is a stress blend that I will be doing. I'm only doing one a week, so these are all kind of spread out, and I can't tell you when the stress one is, but I do have one lined up for stress, yes. Anti-germ, when is anti-germ? That's a great question. I think it's probably the one after sleep, but I cannot swear to that. I will give you a link to the class page, and it's actually this one right here. So I'm finding the link. I'll hold this one up for you guys. So it's using eossafely.com/eoclass. And you can find the list of classes that you might have missed, as well as a little bit in advance. I really haven't done a whole lot in what's coming up, but I do want to spend a little bit of time to get that one going because we do have some scheduled. And I think the anti-germ is probably after sleep as far as the blends go. So it's sandalwood, sleep, lemon, and I think anti-germ is after lemon, but I'm not positive. Took me quite a bit of research on essential oils to get past applying everything to the feet. Yes, as I read when I first started researching essential oils, I often wondered why to apply to the feet. Thank you for the, well, if you want to know why companies are stressing applying them to their feet, I think it's because they know these essential oils are strong. It seems that the companies that are suggesting to add to your feet are the same ones that don't have you dilute. Now, as we know, your feet have the thickest skin on them. They have the extra layer of skin is on the bottom of your feet. So when you're applying essential oils that aren't diluted, the chance of adverse reactions on your feet are low. Now, your hands, on the other hand, pun intended, they are a little bit thicker because they are palms, but you can still have adverse reactions on your hands from applying to your feet. Now, how they can sometimes work is when you're applying them, you are breathing, right? I mean, you're still breathing as you're applying them to your feet. So therefore, you're inhaling, which can have a good effect, even on congestion. So if you have applied them to your feet and you do find it works, just think how much better it would work if you actually used an inhaler next to your nose, or if you applied it to your throat and your chest. I mean, it just makes sense, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Forget the feet unless you have a foot issue. Otherwise, you do not want to use them on your feet any more than you'd use them on your elbow or your earlobe or any other random spot.
That has to be one of my biggest essential oil pet peeves. I hate the whole feet thing. It drives me crazy.
Me too. I'm trying to contain myself here because I'm like, oh, feet is so stupid. Why? But I'm trying not to go crazy about it. But yes. So that's why I really think those companies know. I think they know. They're like, well, let's tell them to put them on their feet. That way the chances of adverse reactions are going to be a lot lower.
And they'll sell more.
Yeah, exactly. And you sell more because then they're not diluted to begin with. And you're using Lord knows how many drops on your feet instead of, basically one diluted out. So
right.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Apparently many do that with Vicks. Yes, why? Why? Yes. So that's why there's no need, no feet. Please, somebody ask me another question because I'm just about to go. I was always told everything absorbs into your body best through. No, okay. I have to keep going on about this. I have to do it. Okay.
Go.
Okay. So you hear, largest pores or something, right? Okay, pores. Okay, these are not pores. They're sweat glands. They are sweat glands. Okay, they are sweat glands, and sweat glands expel sweat through the glands. They do not suck essential oils or anything else into them. Okay, it's a sweat gland. And it pushes out sweat. Water and oil do not mix. They will not be sucked into your feet through their large pores. They are sweat glands. Does not make any sense. It will not happen. Oh, no. You want to see me do the shake? I can't. There's no music. I can't.
It's a live performance.
It's not playing. Okay, so lavender, I'm feeling my blood pressure rise a little bit. No, really, their sweat glands are not pores. It makes zero sense. Okay. Lavender makes me have vivid dreams. Really? Okay. A lot of people actually say that vinegar makes them have vivid dreams. But hey, we're all different, and that's the thing. Some people might find that the first blend works really great for them. Other people might find this one works better for them. So, we are a little bit different. So, that's why my mom always yelled at me to wear shoes because she said I'd get worms or parasites or something. I know. I heard that too. It's just, I don't know where people come up with these things. I really don't. Really, have you looked at the bottom of your foot? Do you see any pores or even sweat glands at all? Really? Do you? Do you see any large holes in your feet? That doesn't even make sense.
I hope not.
If you go to Russia, they'll yell at you for sitting on concrete or something. You're going to catch a cold. You have to wear a hat and, be all layered up. You can't sit on cold concrete. It's so funny. You're hearing literal old wives' tales from babushkas. This is where it starts. It's so fun.
Some people, they have pores on their nose, right? Some people's noses, you can see pores right there. So put it on your nose then. It's a lot better and closer to your lungs than your feet. So someone's saying that they can't use lavender at night because it keeps them awake. Yes, a lot of people find that. And the reason is a lot of times people are using too much lavender. If you use too much lavender, it actually can have the opposite effect. Also, there's something called spike lavender that can actually be very stimulant. So you want to make sure that the lavender you have is just the regular Lavandula officinalis. A good pore reducer. Witch hazel's really good for that. It's an astringent. Yes, inhalation is the best way. Really, a steam inhalation is the best. We had that bowl of steaming hot water and you're adding a couple of drops and you put a towel over your head on the bowl. That is really, really, really the best. I had some really unsafe recommendations given to me, and I want to tell them something that works better and is safe. Yes. It might have originated somehow from reflexology as far as the foot. I mean, you can massage the foot, absolutely, but adding essential oils to the foot, unless you have a foot issue, it's just not going to be the most effective way to use essential oils.
The barefoot dragonfly, I know that we like to share the one link of hers, and I believe she's a reflexologist, and she's the one who's kind of dispelled that myth. Is she's said, you know, just adding an oil to that spot isn't going to trigger the reflexology point. So it's founded in a existing principle, but it doesn't have an actual fact to back it up.
Yeah. No, it's okay. I don't need any guesses for that one. There's actually a lot of companies recommend that, unfortunately. Yeah, just a good carrier and a foot massage. There's no need. There's no need. The thing is, you know, you want to get, essential oils are generally not cheap. Yes, you can buy some and have them last for a long time. If you're diluting them and you're diffusing them, you can have a bottle stretch out. But really, why waste essential oils? And why not have them be used in the absolute most effective way? And that is another one of my pet peeves, is when companies recommend ways to use essential oils for specific issues that are completely unrelated. You know, congestion, throat and chest, you know, or diffuse. Forget the feet. You know, aphrodisiacs, inhale, linen sprays, baths, whatever, not the feet. I mean, again, you want to match up the essential oils and the therapeutic properties in them to your need and to, you know, the best application method. There's really no need to list all these wild and ridiculous and random spots to apply to your body. You know, it just doesn't make any sense. I will try not to go off on the tangent again. Which lavender is safe for children? Lavandula officinalis. That's your most generic one. Bulgarian. Usually Bulgarian lavender is really the best one. There's a couple of different ones as well, but Eden's Garden, if you go there, you can check out their singles and it will give you the safety recommendations and let you know if a lavender is not safe for children. They did hire me last summer to do their singles information, and I do have applications and recipes and different things that I did for them, as well as a safety. So that is something that you can go over there and check out and trust. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to, listen, it's not going to hurt your feet to put them there. It's just not going to be as effective for you. So,
and a waste.
Try to, yeah, it's a waste. It's just a waste. It's a waste of oils and it's a waste of effectiveness. It just doesn't make, yeah, a heel spur, go for it. It's on your heel. It's on your foot. Absolutely, that makes sense. Yes. Why would you get nauseated if you were given a massage with virgin coconut oil? I have no idea. I've never heard anybody having that issue with coconut oil. Not sure. I don't think it would be related to the coconut oil, but that's just going to be my guess. I don't know if there was something else going on. Is it okay to let the diffuser run all night in my 1-year-old's room? I know 50-30 is recommended, but I don't want to go in and risk waking her. Is there harm in letting it run? I would suggest that you add less water to the diffuser. Don't fill it up to the fill line. Just put less in so that after the hour or, you know, the 30 minutes or whatever, it will just automatically shut off. And only use 1 or 2 drops as well.
Yeah, I was going to say less drops because I just got a diffuser that works as a humidifier. And with, you know, it being dry winter, I kind of want the humidifier part to run. So I'm just going to add 1 or 2 drops for the, you know, the whole thing to be running. You know, then that's in a lot of water. So, you know, I think it'll be pretty spread out. But, you know, if we're talking about, you know, something like congestion, is not as big of a deal. But if you're doing that every night, that's when you're really going to start running into the issues and stuff.
And maybe a linen spray might be the best way to do that too.
Yeah.
Is there harm in letting it run? Well, just the thing is, we talked about this last week as well. Our bodies pretty much shut off smells, you know, after a while, and they're just not effective. After about 30 to 60 minutes, they're really not as effective. And if we're continually bombarding our body with something that's really not effective anymore, then that's where you can get into adverse reactions. You know, it's probably not anything scary, but I would just recommend using less water, using 1 or 2 drops, or using a linen spray would probably be the best thing.
Yeah, less water is, you know, I mean, most diffusers either auto shut off or, you know, they don't like grind themselves when it runs out of water. So you can just add less water to it. And, you know, I mean, put it in like a common area that you're just kind of like walking through if you really want to, and time how long it runs on full. If you don't know already from the instructions, it should tell you if you look up your product description somewhere. But then, you know, just divide that out, add less water. You know, it's not, it's a little bit of work on the offset to figure it out. But, you know, if you don't want to buy a timer or something, that's the simplest way to do it.
Yep. How can you make this into a linen spray? Actually, thanks for that suggestion. I will be making a recipe and adding it to the post along with a hand sanitizer. That's a really great question. But meanwhile, you can add 6 drops of either one of these blends per ounce of water or hydrosol. And you just want to shake it up before you spray it. You just want to shake it, and then spray. Because as we know, water or oil and hydrosols are not really going to mix. So you want to shake it first, and then you want to spritz it on the bedding, and that should be full. So it's 6 drops per ounce. So I can't help it. Sometimes when I hear things, like I hear the song too. So it's just like, anyway.
And that's my boy's favorite. Well, I mean, mine too. I'm unashamedly a Taylor Swift fan. So she's just
I don't really know how many
I mean,
hello. Yeah.
So
but that one is just one of those that just like, it's the only one I have of hers downloaded. So water, witch hazel, no, I would suggest hydrosol, water or a hydrosol. A witch hazel would be great for the hand sanitizer, but for a linen spray, you can even use vodka. You can even use alcohol. Yeah, that would be fine. But yeah, water or hydrosol will be better for a linen spray. And you can use sandalwood hydrosol or lavender hydrosol, or, you know, any one of those calming, even peppermint hydrosol for anti-congestion. Yes, welcome. So does anybody have any more questions before I give away my book?
It's time for Downton Abbey. I really have to sign off. I can't miss Downton Abbey.
No, you can't.
I'm going to say goodbye. I missed it last week because of the Super Bowl, so I can't miss it again. So good night, everybody.
Enjoy.
Night.
Totally forgiven. I love Downton Abbey as well.
Good night.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good night. I got you on Twitter. Yay! I got you on Twitter. I'm so excited. See, isn't it worth it? It's so fun. I know there's 157 of you guys just watching, unable to type and interact, and you're just wishing you had signed up with Twitter like the 42 of you who have. So are there any more questions? So you're welcome. I will be on Periscope at noon tomorrow. And I will do this again. Oh, thanks. You got it. And if you are not from the Facebook group, you can find us here. So we can get it without any. There we go. We're the new using essential oil safely. It seems like every single time I mention it, we get a flood of requests to the old group. Like, no, we're the new one. So if you can type that in. And okay, so if you missed the link, this is the link to the post about anti-congestion recipes. It's Anti-Congest EOS. Okay, so I'm going to ask a question for somebody to win this book. It's going to be somebody here who's been listening very carefully. So what question? I think I had one earlier that I was going to ask. So the first person, and Daphne, you're going to have to help me because like last time, there's usually a flood of people answering. So the first person to correctly answer this question will win a copy of my book. Oh, Essential Oils and Rashes. This one is basically geared to congestion recipes, but for rashes, helichrysum can be good for rashes. It really depends on the rash, to be honest.
No, Leah, it's good. Why do essential oils cause rashes, not for rashes. Why are
all I'm saying is essential oils and rashes. So
It was further up. Just Christy hopped off, and I hadn't been able to grab it yet. I was looking for a link to address.
Oh, okay. Okay. So why do essential oils cause rashes? It can be for a number of reasons. It can be you've either, okay, people getting right. It can be that you've used too high a dilution. Some essential oils have topical maxes, such as cinnamon. Leaf has a topical max of 0.6%. Cinnamon bark 0.07%. And there's other ones that have, yes, the recipes, I'm getting sidetracked. The recipes are found here. And actually, if you want to know the list of essential oils that do have a topical max, you can go to usingeossafely.com/dilute, and that will give you a list of essential oils that do have topical maxes. So if you're using too much essential, if you're not diluting it enough, then you can get irritation. You can get rashes. It can also be something that, sorry, I was distracted. Yeah, congestion. Let me see. Right. It can also be your carrier oil as well. Carrier oils generally only last a few months. So if you're using a carrier oil that's expired, then it can give you a rash. If you're using witch hazel or aloe, or I mean, those shouldn't give you rashes, but please consider that it might not be the essential oil. It might be an actual carrier oil. So that is something that that might help you out. So, oh good, your first time here, excellent. Nice. Nice to hear it. Okay, so the question is going to be, if you can name the constituent that is not child safe that is found in eucalyptus and rosemary essential oils, as well as some other ones. Console. I think it's auto-correcting. Yes, 1,8-cineol is correct. Yes, 1,8-cineol. You got it, Danielle. Okay, so email me here, and I will reply back with a copy of my book. Congratulations, very good. You guys were listening. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So next week we will be discussing sandalwood essential oil. So please subscribe to this blab. If you go back to blab and find Using EOS Safely, you can you can find me there, and you can subscribe to be notified. I will be on Periscope tomorrow at noon, right here, Using EOS Safely, and I will be there at noon. And you can, yes, you can find me there. I will be putting this recording up on YouTube, so anybody that missed it, or if you came in at the end, then you can find it there as well. Yes, sandalwood is amazing. I know. I kind of hesitated doing two expensive essential oils so close together. We did helichrysum last week, and we're going to be doing sandalwood next week, but it's like, I can't wait. I have to do sandalwood. It's so awesome. So thanks everybody for coming. That was really, really fun. Really, you guys had really awesome questions as always. So I appreciate you guys joining Twitter and coming on to Blab. That is so awesome.
You so much.
Yes, it was lots and lots of fun. So.
And happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Thank you so much for taking time of your Valentine's Day. That means a lot.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so here it is. She lost the email when it booted her. So there you go. So email me there for the book. So yes, thanks everybody for joining in, and see you next week.
Bye.